Okay, and we should be live, but I gotta do my typical let's go check YouTube, let's go check Twitch, make sure that we're all good over on those fronts. Bada bing. Twitch is looking sexy, looking good, let's go. Alright, YouTube, how you doing? You're the only one I'm really worried about, because for some reason, it's only with first snow, but you don't like first snow, so I'm like, it makes me a little scared over here. Okay, we should be all good over here. Alright, we are good. Awesome. Hi, we're back with more of the Head Well Lost. In the last one, what happened in the last one? That was when we finally got to actually meet Rai, which was so good. That was such a good scene, and I'm so glad that they didn't, like, drag out the, like, whole reveal of him being a Dullahan part, like, her reaction to it, basically, because, like, yeah, it's, like, more realistic if she has, like, a strong reaction to it that, like, takes her, like, time to, like, think of and process, but I'm like, yeah, but we've seen that done in stories like 1,000 times of like oh gosh, I need to run off because the person I just met's actually like a monster of some sorts. My whole worldview needs to change, yada yada. But not only did they like skip all of that, but they handled it in like also, why am I like so far over? Hang on. Hang on, let me make myself just a little bit smaller on here. There we go. I think that like that looks good. That looks good. There we go. But it was like, not only was it like written in a realistic way, like semi-realistic way to like get through it as realistic as I think you could write a scene like that, but like it was also just hilarious. I loved it. It was so good. And then what else happened after that? Oh, we also actually met Virgil, who was super fun. I loved him. He was such a great time, and like we had like the whole concert and everything. Everything about it was pretty awesome, and I just can't wait to get into more of this. Like waiting for today, because like that's one of like the only like semi quote unquote issues of like streaming or like trying to record these is like, yeah, if I want to sit down for like 5 minutes to do it, I can't, because I'm like, I'm not just gonna do a stream for like 5 minutes, that'd be cringe. So but like ever since Thursday I've been like, I mean, I could just like sit down and read one scene. Oh, but I gotta wait for stream on Tuesday or Thursday. Oh, I gotta wait. It's been a really hard wait because I'm just like, oh, I'm so excited to see where like the story's gonna go from here. Because like there's so many places now that he's here. Like I kind of like had a struggle like describing it last time, as I tend to like on the spot like this. But like it's not that the story was like stagnant before, but it's like harder for it to like have a lot of new places to go with Rai not being around. Like I think the story did almost as much as you could with them being separated, you know? And it was like all still very well written. That's why I still stuck with it, because it was like still very entertaining, enjoyable to read. But like now that he's here, it opens up to like 1,000 new possibilities, like where the story could be going. So I'm very excited. Also, Controller, are you working right now? Controller, buddy, hey, buddy. Also, I talked about in the last one that I was thinking, let's just actually like get loaded into this. This is the last one that we made, I believe. Yes, it does. Sweet. Okay. Also, I talked about in the last one, like, hey, maybe I'll try like streaming some like games this week, like Undertale or Persona 3. Just like slowly incorporate like actual games back in that are like easy on the hands. But I'm like, I gotta write a script this week. I don't think I could handle doing that and playing a game at the same time. That might be a little too much for my hands. So once I finish this script that I'm working on, then we can like actually like, also the music's so good, then we can actually get back into like playing stuff like that. I'm thinking that we're going to start with Undertale. I'm not super sure. I really do want to play Persona 3 though, just because I love Persona. I didn't think I'd like be like this big of a Persona fan, but like I've been playing through a lot of 5 over this time of me not being able to use my hands too much, and by a lot I mean like I'll play for like an hour or two once a week basically, because that's all my hands can handle. And like gosh darn, I love it. It's like already up there as one of my favorite games of all time. And I just hear that the original Persona 3 is like, the story and characters are better written than Persona 5's anyway. So I'm like, oh, I'm excited for that. Because like the story and the characters are like one of the things I like the most about Persona 5. Obviously, it's a Persona game. If you don't like the characters and story, like you're just not going to have a good time, because that's like 90% of the gameplay is just talking with your friends, you know? So like, oh, I'm so excited. So I'm like, I'm still debating on what I want to do, but that's also not an issue for this week that I got to worry about. This week, we're still just going to stick with the visual novels. But yeah, no. So like next time, it'll probably be like next week when we get into like, again, like Undertale or Persona 3. But for now, yeah, no, we're just sticking with the visual novels. And I'm also like currently thinking of like how I want to schedule visual novels from here on out. Because like I want them to stay a part of like what I do. Like I don't want it to be like, oh, here's just a bunch of visual novel stuff, and then people like follow or subscribe to see the visual novels, you know? And then suddenly it's like, oh, well, now all of them are gone. No more visual novels for like a few months. Because like my original plan was like once I can get my hands back and actually like start like playing games like Spider-Man or Genshin was like, oh, I'll do like a Spider-Man and then I'll do a continent of Genshin and then I'll do a visual novel, repeat with Spider-Man 2, next continent in Genshin, another visual novel. But I'm like, I feel like that's like dividing too much essentially. So I'm like, I think I might just stick with like Tuesdays and Thursdays once I get my hands on will be like games, and then Wednesdays will be like a nice like break stream, and then we'll do like visual novels like Wednesday nights. I kind of like that. I kind of like that, especially because like back when I could say I was about to say back, but since I like still record visual novels for like my other channel, just 'cause, like stuff that I don't think would like do too well on Twitch, considering there's a lot of not okay to show on Twitch kind of stuff in those, so it's easier to record those so I could edit them out. I still do that, and usually that's on Wednesdays, but you know, if I just switch over to doing visual novels on Wednesday, then that's fine too. Like, yeah, I'll have to find like a slightly different time to like record them, but I'm like, it's fine. I can manage it. I can work around it, because I do still, again, I still want to keep visual novels as being a big part of what I do, because I just love reading them. They're so much fun. Like these past couple of streams, especially like with how good First No and The Head Will Lost have been like some of my favorite streams, because it's just good content. It's just like well, like the visual novels themselves, not necessarily be reading them, but just like the visual novels. So I just really enjoy going through it. Also, I just tend to really enjoy like doing like the narrations and reading stuff out loud. Like I also used to have a channel where I read creepypastas, and I've been thinking about maybe for Halloween maybe bringing that back, maybe doing some of that on Twitch and then on YouTube, and then making them into actual like videos to go up. Maybe I could revive the other channel and have that be where I upload those like videos and things that we read during October, just because like I love reading these kinds of things out loud. I don't know what it is. There's just something like very fun and like almost addicting about it. Like when I was having that channel going, it was like, oh dude, I was always on the prowl for like a new creepypasta, and then as soon as I was like, oh, I want to read this one, I'd instantly message the person like, hey, can I read this please? And then as soon as I got the okay, it was like, all right, time to like time to set up all my like recording stuff. I even got like a special mic, like specifically meant for voice acting and narration. Granted, it wasn't able to like come through as the best, because the main issue that I have right now with like my audio is that I have a huge room. This room is so big, and it's not like soundproofed at all, and like to soundproof it would be so much money that I just don't have right now. So like it definitely hurts the audio quality. Like even this mic, like I looked up reviews of it, because if I'm going to spend money on something, I want to make sure it's like good juicy quality, you know what I mean? And like this mic sounded really good. Like they were specifically like, oh, here's the, you know, with no like filters, no editing, anything, yada yada. And I was like, that sounds really good. And then I got it, and like it does sound good, but like because of like the quality of like my area, like basically like where I record, it can't be at full potential basically. So even though I had like basically a voice acting microphone, I couldn't really use it to its fullest potential because I have a terrible place to record at. So I do need to like, I need to work on that. I need to like figure out a way. There was a time where I was like, oh, I should make like a little box, like a little soundproof box that I can put over, like hook onto like my arm or something, because I have like an arm for my microphone, and then do it that way. And then I'm like, okay, but like then with however, regardless of how I set up my microphone after that, the only ways I can, it would be blocking my screen, so I couldn't see anything actually happening on the screen. So I'm like, maybe that's not the best idea. I'm still trying to find workarounds so I can have better, higher quality audio, because audio is like such an important part. Like I even get it, like why people wouldn't want to watch like stuff with like a little bit lower quality audio. I get it, I understand. So that's one of the reasons like I really want to work on it, because like some people. Also, I'm sorry for going on such a long tangent. I'm so sorry for going on such a long tangent before I actually get into the visual novel, but like whatever. Is that like people will always be like, oh, your audio's not like great? Well, I guess I better just upgrade to the newest, shiniest microphone for a couple $100s. Oh wow, my audio's still not that much better. And it's like, yeah, because like the actual like quality of your area and your surroundings impacts like the quality of your audio. Like that's just stuff that you have to like take into account, and I just haven't yet. So we'll see. But yeah, no. The more I think about like doing like the more creepypasta readings in October, the more excited I get. I need to like get back on that. I really want to. Okay, that's definitely something I'm gonna at least like look into trying, like getting people's permissions to like read it on Twitch and over here on YouTube, and then upload those like over on my other channel, like actually edit them down and add the creepy special music in the background. You know what I mean? I think that'd be so much fun. Also, it's another thing I could do for my audio that I was planning to today is actually just having the microphone directly in front of my face, because I noticed when I was editing some stuff yesterday that it sounds better when the microphone is just directly in front of my face. Which isn't for like every mic. Not every mic is like that. Like a lot of other streamers and YouTubers will have it like slightly off to the side like I do. But it's a lot easier for me to have it how it is, where it's slightly off to my side. But I noticed that in instances where I knew it was in front of my face, that it just sounded like a bit better. Not like, oh my gosh, night and day. It sounds like you have like a high-end professional mic. It'd be like a 10% difference. But you know what? That 10% sounded really nice. But I think with all that being said, did I have anything else I wanted to talk about? No, we covered what I was planning to do next week, whether that be Persona or Undertale on Wednesday nights. We talked, I mean, okay, I would do those Wednesday nights because my hands can still kind of only handle once a week, and that'd be a good way of like incorporating more stuff back into streaming and like actually like getting like content made essentially. And then after that, once my hands are back into the full swing of things, moving visual novels to being Wednesday night once a week, every week. So then I'm still incorporating that. So then there's still visual novels here for people to enjoy. What else? And then the October thing. I think that's really all. I think that's all I really need to talk about. So yeah, with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump on into it. Time passes by excruciatingly slowly for the next couple of days. But it's finally Good Friday, and the day Raya arrives in town. Did the music just die? That like threw me off, like the little. It was like, oh my gosh, wait, did something just shut down? And then I realized that was part of the music. That was part of the music of the thing. Is my controller actually not working right now? Hang on. Click. Since I have the day off, I spend it doing some chores around the house that I've been putting off. Yeah, no, my controller's just not working right now. That's really weird. Anyways, I guess I'll put my mouse down here so then it's all good to go. It's still working with the audio. It's just not working with, like, being a controller. Weird that my controller is basically just turned into an extension for my microphone jack. I love that. Oh. Laundry, dishes, cleaning. I've neglected them all. Thanks to my reckless abandonment, the caked on gunk on the dishes takes ages to scrub off. Throughout these chores, the cats follow me around the apartment, staring me down in what seems to be a judgmental fashion. Even Cream, how could you? Anyway, we didn't talk about it specifically, but there's a good chance Raya might come into my place, and I don't want it looking like a post-apocalyptic mess when he does. Oh my gosh. That is the realest feeling. When one of the reasons I don't like having anyone over at my place, outside of like, there's the first time there's like a small amount of anxiety there, always, regardless. I think that's just a very normal thing though, just like inviting people into your place, because like opens you up for judgment that will never come unless you like are with bad people. But it's like, oh my gosh, I have like 2 things out. They're gonna think I'm a terrible, horrible slob. And then I go over to like my friend's house, and sometimes they just have like, it's just a disaster area, and there I'm like, you know what, yeah, it's valid though, like they're busy adults, we're all busy adults, we don't have time to like clean every other day, and you know, this was a last minute plan to come over anyway, so it's like, we can't do anything about it. But then as soon as that comes to applying it, the same thing to me, game over. I just can't do it. Also, why is my mouth not moving? I think, oh wait, there we go. Oh, there we go, my mouth's moving again. Just as I'm finished mopping, I hear my phone go off. I'm here, idling out front. Oh, crap. I look down at myself, and sure enough, I'm dressed in sweatpants. I mean, I've been cleaning and doing chores all day, so looking nice has been the last thing on my mind. Valid, be comfy while you clean. Give me 5 minutes. Full, take your time. After spraying my hair with some dry shampoo and putting on clothes that I don't actually mind being seen in, I leave my apartment. Makeup, what's that? Naturally, Raya's Porsche is easy to spot. Out of consideration for the people living in the first floor apartment directly in front of his car, he's dimmed the headlights. Oh, no, he's a keeper. He's a keeper. Because I don't know if this is how Porsches are, but I'm sure that like if she had to specify that he's like dimming the lights, he probably has like LED lights, and those are the worst things ever. I love driving down a highway, and suddenly a car emerges as a tiny little dot behind me, like a mile away. and I'm blinded by the lights because it's just so bright. And then as soon as you stop at a red light, you think that you're passing on to heaven, as suddenly everything goes white. It's the worst. That was a little PSA of, hey, if you have LED lights, don't. They're awful. They're the worst. No one enjoys it. I pause for a moment to just take this scene in. My boyfriend is here, on break from an international tour, idling in his fancy Porsche that's reflecting the pale moonlight. Also, don't mind the several possessions. I'm just exercising a lot right now, alright? There's a lot of demons in me. It's a cool spring night while I'm standing on this rickety metal stairs. On the rickety metal stairs. Is my hair blowing in the wind? Is he looking up at the balcony or on his or are his eyes on his phone? It feels very romantic here in this moment. I take a deep breath and finish descending the stairs, then walk over to his car and knock on the passenger seat window. There's a sound of the car door being unlocked that reminds me when Rai said that locks are useless against Dullahans. Does that mean that if he ever locks his keys in his car, he can still open the doors to get in? That's not fair. It seems there are a lot of practical advantages to being a Dullahan. I open the car door and slide into the passenger seat. Hey, how's the flight? It was good. No complaints there, but I'm starving. How about you? I can't even remember when I last ate. I've been cleaning all day. Whoa, so you were productive. Good job. What do you want to eat? Well, since it's a little late and it's Good Friday, not a whole lot of places are open. This is so weird. Like, I looked up what, like, Good Friday even was, and it's like, you know, a Jesus holiday. It's, like, connected to Easter, I think. But I've never heard of that. And it's like, to hear, like, oh, like, places are closed for it. I'm like, what? Why? Like, no, this is not, is this really a holiday? I don't know. I mean, I know it's a holiday, but it's, like, weird that's, like, taken that seriously in places that's, like, I was like, I guess not to give too much away about myself. Also, I'm kind of moving my camera. I need to move it slightly. It's not picking up my mouth, like, at all. As I live in a pretty religious area, and I've never heard of it before. So it's like, what? What is happening? An idea seems to dawn on both of us at the same time. Waffle House? We say in unison. Rai chuckles, shaking his head. This is going to turn into a tradition at this rate. I don't know how I feel about that. Why? Is it too much strain on your wallet? Rai laughs dryly at my words, but he shifts the car into gear and starts to drive away from my apartment complex. Are we going to the same Waffle House we went to last time? Do you remember how to get there? Yes and yes. Feeling reassured, I lean back further into my seat and relax. I gotta say, it feels nice to have someone drive you around, and in a Porsche no less. What kind of car is a Porsche? Hang on. This is important. It is very vital for me to be fully engrossed in the story if I know exactly what a Porsche is. A Porsche. Are they like actually? Oh wait, yeah, no, these are nice cars. Oh, I like it. I don't. Okay, the headlights. The headlights kind of look goofy, but I can't tell if I like it or not. Hang on. Let me just go ahead and go like this and then pull it up. I'm so glad that I have this power now of where I could just pull up OBS. Hang on. OBS. Bam. There we go. Porsche. It's on the screen, baby. It looks so goofy, but in like an endearing kind of way. And I've never described a car as endearing, but I kind of dig it. Like there was one that looked like it had like more like standard headlights, and I think it looks worse. Yeah, and like this. I can't tell if I like this one more or if I like the big old bug eyes. I kind of like the big old bug eyes. They're fun. That's a nice car. All right, well, now I'm fully engrossed in the story. There we go. Oh, no. Well, now I need to go, like, bam. There we go. Waffle House is more crowded than the last time we came, but not too much so. A few people glance our way as we take a seat. They probably recognize Rai. Ooh, the concern I would have with that is, like, what if someone's, like, secretly, like, taking a video or a photo of him? Then he can't really take off his helmet to, like, do anything. Because as far as I'm aware, he's, like, he doesn't necessarily have to keep it a secret, but it's, like, probably better for him too, right? It's probably better for him too. Also, I need to pull up the Twitch thing so I can actually like make sure I can keep track of it. There we go. Bam. Nobody comes up to bother us though. I stifle my laughter as Rai lifts his helmet slightly and shoves huge chunks of waffle under it. I'm still amazed we got away with him taking off his helmet last time, but there's too many people around this time for such a miracle to happen again. I guess that is the easiest way to get around it, is just slightly lift it. There's no shocking revelations at tonight's dinner, and actually, it's pretty quiet. I think Rai's spacing out. It occurs to me that Rai's been busy all day. Originally, he was supposed to fly out this morning, but then he had a schedule change at the last minute and had to go to the studio to record with another artist he's collabing with. That seems pretty unreasonable to me, but apparently things like this happen all the time in the music industry. That sounds awful. Raya said that it's so hard for artists Raya said that it's so hard for artists of their caliber to make time for each other that when time pops up unexpectedly, they have no choice but to go. Okay, my brain has now recognized that sentence. Rai has said that it's so hard for artists of their caliber to make time for each other that when time pops up unexpectedly, they have no choice but to go for it. One does not simply blow off the weekend, after all. And then I do love that this just references real life. I like that it's like just set in just the normal world. The only difference right now is that there are Dullahans and like I guess like other creatures, but it is fun. And then after all that, he hopped on a plane to get here, went and got his car, and then came to my apartment to pick me up. I need some peace and quiet to decompress and process the day. The last thing I want is to force him to make small talk with me. That's so valid. You're so real for that, Francis. Good job. I didn't feel like waffles this time, so I'm eating steak and eggs. The steak is about what I expected a steak from Waffle House to taste like, but after a whole day of not really eating, it's not so bad. While Rai is distracted, I flag the waitress over and give her my card so I can pay for dinner this time. I know Rai makes probably more money in a day than I make in a month or two, but that doesn't mean I want him to pay for everything. Oh my gosh, these two are just like green flags up and down. Her willing to give him his peace and quiet to decompress after a horrible day, even though he makes more than you, you're still willing to like help cover like dinner and stuff to show that you like care and everything like that. Oh my gosh, these two are great. He's already flown here to spend time with me, so I want to show my appreciation however I can. A while after that, Rai seems returned to reality. He stares at my empty plate and the already signed merchant's copy of the receipt. I'm sorry, I was completely zoning out there. You didn't have to treat me too. It's okay, you've had a long day. You paid for me last time, so it's only fair that I pay this time. And come on, it's Waffle House. It's too late anyway, I've already paid. Thank you, Francis. Rai actually sounds touched. His voice and body language are pretty expressive, actually. Even though I said that him not having a face is a downside, he communicates surprisingly well without one. He picks up his fork and finishes off his meal, albeit shyly, when he notices me gazing at him. Sorry, I can't help it. That's what he gets for zoning out and letting me finish my entire plate before him. Then again, I already said I don't want to make Rai uncomfortable. It's funny seeing him stuff bits of waffle under his helmet, but it's not as eye-catching as seeing waffles actually dissolve into the space where his head should be. Rai soon finishes his food, and we can get back into his Porsche. Rai soon finishes his food, and so we can get back into his Porsche for the drive back to my place. Oh, wait, is he like staying over? Or is he like staying at like a hotel? Thanks for picking me up and everything. No problem. Sorry I was so quiet at dinner. No worries, I completely understand. You've been all over the place today. How can I complain when you've come all this way to spend time with me? I don't see it like that at all. I want to be here. Is he really just going to be up? Is he really just going to go to his hotel after this? I still want to spend more time with him. But is it too soon to invite him up? I decide to trust my heart. Do you want to come to my place? Or do you have to check into your hotel? I can come up. His words are casual, but his tone sounds like there's nowhere else he'd rather be. Heartened by this, I nod and then direct him to where he can park his car. We walk up to my place together. Dude, I think one of the reasons I started reading and enjoying more visual novels, especially for the romance side of things, is because I'm just glad that these two are communicating their wants and stuff. She's like, I really want him to come up. I'll just ask him and see what he says, you know? She doesn't try to force him up. She doesn't not ask him up and then get bitter about how little time they're spending together. She's like, I'll ask him up and, give him the option if he wants to or not. And I love that because, like, so many freaking romance novels will just be like, here, let's just, like, not communicate with each other at all. And then, like, let the entire relationship fall apart until we, like, fix our miscommunications in the end and we get back together. And it's like, I mean, it's not, like, an unrealistic thing, but, like, it's just such a common trope that I'm like, as soon as, like, there's, like, this or, like, in Please Be Happy and in First Note, it's like, all of these characters just, like, communicating their wants and needs. It's so refreshing. Welcome, welcome. Mikasa as Sukasa. I watch as Rai comes in, turning his head as he looks around at the place. This apartment is very you. Really? Yeah, there's a comforting feeling to it. I laugh, feeling flattered as I rub the back of my neck with one hand. Come to think of it, when was the last time I had somebody over? It's been an embarrassingly long time, I think. First things first, I need to introduce you to my children. Oh? His voice falters. Rai doesn't sound too happy about the prospect. Why? He's always gushed about my cats every time I've sent him photos. The reason soon becomes clear. All three of my cats snub Rai. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Especially if he gushes over them. He probably loves cats and just can't do anything. But that's so sad. Phaeton straight up hisses at him. Cream won't come within 3 feet of him without backing away. Misty stays perched on top of my shelves, just staring down at him judgmentally. What the hell's going on? Misty's just being Misty, but Phaeton and Cream are usually so friendly. Sorry, I should have told you this sooner. Animals usually don't take too well to me. I think they can sense that I'm a harbinger of death. The what? That sounds just as bad as being the embodiment of raging death. Technically, Dullahans are supposed to be sort of like death fairies. What? Wait, hang on. Yeah, no, what? That sounds like... That sounds like an important thing that you probably should have told me sooner. What do you mean? What do you mean you're a death fairy? Like, oh. I mean, I doubt, like, he wouldn't, like, come in here if he's, like, putting out, like, a deathly aura that's gonna, like, drain Francis of her life or anything. Hopefully. That doesn't seem like something he'd do. Question mark. But I still feel like that's something you should tell someone. Granted, the last time we had this conversation with him, it was already a lot to take in. I don't think he could drop any more on us, so it's kind of fair. That is, one of our powers is that if we get... Wait. Okay, wait. Hang on, I just read ahead. That is, one of our powers is that if we get blah blah blah. One of our powers is that if we get someone to say, why am I struggling so much with this? One of our powers is that if we say someone's full name, their spirit will get sucked out of their body and they'll die. I'm so sorry, but what? I did read that on Wikipedia, but it's another thing entirely to actually hear him say it. Never mind, he should have said that on the first date. I'm sorry. Oh, don't get me wrong, I've never used that power. I don't think anyone in my immediate family has. As he tries to defend himself and, no doubt, prevent me from freaking out, Rai starts rambling. Really rambling. There's, other spirits of death anyway. Dullahans aren't seen as death spirits among the folk anymore. We don't want to take over someone else's shtick, so there's really no need for us to use our powers. I can't tell if this elaboration is making me feel better, but the attempt is pretty entertaining. I nod in what I hope is a reassuring manner so that he's encouraged to continue trying. Anyway, because of that, a lot of animals aren't too comfortable around us, especially domesticated pets like cats and dogs. He lets out a sigh. It's one thing if they're super young like those puppies from my interview, but in general, they can sense death and sense it from Dullahans, so they're always wary of me. I've never been able to pet a cat. That's so sad. Do you think they could get used to you over time? I don't know. I've never seen it happen. But don't worry, as long as I don't get too close to them or try to interact, they should leave me alone. I'm sorry. It's okay, Francis. Don't worry about it. That's not your fault. Perhaps I should be more concerned about that soul-sucking power. I can't say it doesn't bother me at all, but Rai is harmless. I truly believe that. I know it's not your fault either. Rai just smiles sadly at that. At least that's the expression I imagine. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if you can really smile too much. I have him take a seat on the couch. The cats steer clear, so it's not as cozy and cuddly as I'd imagined when I invited him up, but at least we've got each other. I'm gonna make myself a cup of tea. Do you want some? Oh, sure. I get up to boil some water and steep 2 cups of Earl Grey. I open one of my upper cabinets where all the mugs are and gesture for Rai to take a look. He picks out a light blue mug that says "Third Best Grandpa" on it, and I choose a Monstera pattern mug. What the freak is a Monstera? I love whenever we play the Headwell Lost specifically, it always turns into little Google adventures, and I love that. Hang on, Monstera. Oh, it's like little plants. Okay, I'm not gonna bring this one up just because it is just kind of like leaves and stuff, you know. Like very normal things, easy to describe. So, but that's basically all it is, and that's pretty cool. I love the aesthetic of these plants-covered apartments with their grooves of Monstera casting crisscross shadows, but Monstera is super toxic for cats. Yeah, a lot of plants tend to be. They tend to not do too great with plants in general, honestly. That's why my family doesn't really have any plants, because we have 3 cats, and they'd eat it. So I take a fake one to put in front of my couch. Phaeton has destroyed all but one of the leaves, and I have to continually tap them on the back. Tape them back on. I think, what the freak did I say? What? Tape them back on. Yeah, what the freak is wrong with my brain? After I turn on the water boiler kettle, Rai speaks up from the couch. So, how long have you lived in this apartment? I have to actually think about that for a minute. My life has been fairly monotonous, so the days just kind of run together. Let's see. I was 25 when I got my master's and became a librarian, and I moved in during my last year of post-grad, so almost 5 years now? Come to think of it, I'll be 29 this September. Ugh. Oh wow, that's a pretty long time to stay in one place. I'm comfortable here, and the rent hasn't been increasing too dramatically each year. It's close to both of my workplaces, and security is decent. I don't have any reason to move. My job at the library is pretty stable, and I'm not at the age where it's easy for me to drop everything and start over, move somewhere else, and start a new life. After my last serious relationship crashed and burned, I seriously thought about it. It was the most dissatisfied with my life it was the most dissatisfied with my life that I've ever felt. Also, I am curious to learn more about that. Like, that seems like a story element that like could get very much so further developed. Like, oh no, the mysterious ex comes back into her life, yada yada, somehow becomes a part of it again, so then they can like explore that part of the relationship and Francis's past. Or it could just be something like, you know, gets brought up from time to time to just be like, yeah, this is like why she is like how she is essentially. I don't know, I could see it going either way. But I still couldn't do it. Not even to get away from her, so I really can't imagine myself leaving this place. What about you, Rai? You're based in LA, right? Do you have a pad you always go back to between tours and stuff? My mind is returning to places I don't want to go to, so I shift the topic the other way. Not really. I technically have a place in LA, but in a whole year, I'll maybe spend a month there, tops. Even if I'm not on tour, I travel a lot for other reasons. A collab here, an ad campaign here, and I crash at Virgil's a lot. I give a little as a response. The water comes to a boil. I plunk a tea bag in each mug and then pour the hot water over them, picking up my phone to set a timer for 3 minutes. I don't feel very attached to any place as home. Oh, except for my childhood home in Atlanta, I guess. But I haven't been back there in ages. Oh? Why? My parents moved back to the Dullahan ancestral home in Ireland. It's just easier for Dullahans to live there. There's a whole community and the locals all know about Dullahans, so they don't have to hide. That's kinda cool. Being like, oh yeah, if it's like where the monsters are usually from, the locals probably know about us, so like we're fine to be there. That's a cool idea. I try to imagine what it must be like to be a Dullahan living in this modern age. Rai surprisingly has the advantage of being able to walk around in his helmet, but obviously the others can't really do that. There's a limit to how much they can go around outside without people noticing. Compared to other folk who can use glamours or vampires who are all paler than usual and averse to sunlight, it's much harder for a Dullahan to hide the fact that they're missing a head. Besides, it didn't take long for me to think, if Dullahans exist, what other supernatural beings are out there? If Dullahans were ever exposed to the general public, everyone would wonder that. No one in the supernatural community, if you can call it that, would be safe. It's a delicate balance that I still don't understand very well, being a human myself. My timer goes off. I pull the tea bags out of the mugs and leave them on a little plate on the counter, then bring the mugs with me as I return to the couch. Rai takes his third best grandpa mug. So I want to know why she has that. That's great. And I sit down next to him. He holds his mug with both hands, resting them against the top of his thighs. He seems to be thinking hard about something, or maybe he's zoning out again. Rai? What is it? Are you not gonna take off your helmet? Huh? Oh, would it be okay if I take it off? I just don't want to scare you or make you uncomfortable. Rai. My tone is more Rai. My tone is more forceful than usual. That gets his attention, so Rai turns his head until he's facing me at last. If you want to take it off, you should. If you can't feel safe and comfortable enough around me to be yourself, then we shouldn't be dating. Heck yes! Let's go! Listen, I know, like, what she said right there, just the best. Just the best. Being like, you know what? Take it off if you want to. You need to feel comfortable around me if we're gonna date. That's how this is gonna work. Bada bing, bada boom. You know? I mean, obviously she said it better than I just did, but like still, the message is the same, you know? I don't want to be the reason that Rai feels he has to force himself to hide. Exactly. As a celebrity, as a Dullahan, Rai is always having to hide who he really is so that he can be safe. At least when we're alone, I don't want him to have to feel that way. He stares at me for a long while. The tension in the air is so solid you could cut it with a knife, but I don't look away. Finally, Rai lets out a dry, nervous laugh. You're absolutely right. I'm sorry, it seems I underestimated you. Rai sets his mug. Also, that was so cute. He got so happy about that. I just saw like the replay of it on the Twitch stream of him just like putting his little hands up like, oh my gosh. Rai sets his mug down on the little stool I use as a coffee table and then removes his helmet, setting it on the ground. This is only the second time I've seen his face. Can I call it that? I can't help staring until I catch myself doing it, and I look down in embarrassment. Sorry, does it make you uncomfortable when I stare at you? Once I get used to it, I'm sure it won't be such a big deal. Well, to be fair, I am pretty used to people staring at me, given my profession and all. Well, was that a humble brag? No, that was just a straight up brag. We both share a laugh over that. Rai and I, we're both still figuring out this relationship. I'm sure it won't be easy. I can't begin to imagine how hard it must be for him as a Dullahan in a world full of humans. But I decide not to feel like I'm stepping on eggshells around him all the time. Rai's always been open with me and willing to share and willing to answer any questions about Dryden and about his being a Dullahan. I want to meet Rai where he is and be just as open and honest. I want him to feel safe and accepted when he's with me. If I ever hurt or offend him, I'll apologize sincerely. I hope that he can do the same. All I can do is try my best. With both of us doing what we can to meet halfway, let's see just how far we can go together. Let's go. I love that. I honestly just really like these two together in general. They just have like such a great chemistry and like, I don't know, they're just very healthy. And I enjoy seeing that. I think it makes the story a lot more fun to read. Because then, like, if they're, like, being toxic to each other the whole time, again, just like a lot of romance novels tend to be, then it's just like, I just don't care about them being together, and I probably want them to break up. But them being, like, good to each other means that if there are any hiccups in the relationship, it's going to hit me right here in my little tiny heart, and I won't be able to handle it if they ever do break up, yada yada, etc. Because like if you like it, then you care more about when it's gone, you know? So like it like makes it like better for when drama can come up later. Because like I don't want the relationships to just be like perfect all the time. Obviously, like that's like I don't mind it if it's like every couple stories I read, there's like one where like they generally don't have any issues, you know, yada yada. But if it's a good relationship from the start and then later issues come after you like have like an attachment to it, then that's some good stuff right there. That's where the good stuff is at. What time is it? I blurrily blink the sleep out of my eyes and awareness gradually comes back to me. Oh, we fell asleep on the couch last night while talking. But where's Rai? I stand up, which displaces a blanket that someone, well, it had to be Rai, put on me. Oh, you're up. Good morning. I look towards the kitchen and see Rai cooking something. Good morning. Wow, you're making breakfast? Rai chuckles. Yeah, it's my thanks for letting me crash here last night. Technically, we both just fell asleep, so he never asked to crash, but I would have said yes anyway. No point in correcting him. Also, what a cute idea that they just sat on the couch and talked so long that they just fell asleep there together. That's adorable. Also, I don't think I ever noticed it too much, or like the little sort of like crystal thing that Rai's got going on. I only ever noticed like his smoke around his head. I never like noticed like the little sort of like diamond shaped thing in his head. That's really cool looking. I went out for a bit before you woke up. I went out for a bit before you woke up and bought some groceries since it looked like you were out of eggs, and I needed some for other stuff. And I needed some other stuff. Don't worry, I made sure to lock up before I left. Oh, that's right. Locks don't mean anything to him, so Rai locks himself out and just opened the door when he got back. That's convenient. No need for spare keys. Let's go, that's a win. What are you making? I see that he's got his phone propped up nearby. There's a cooking video playing. Nothing fancy, just omelets. Do you have any allergies? I shake my head. Awesome, I've got 3 different kinds of cheese here. There's also mushrooms, some ham. What do you normally like in an omelet? Surprise me. You've got it. He's so excited. He's so happy about this. I love that for him. I sit down on the couch with the cats as I watch Rai cook. It really has been a long while since someone else has been in my apartment, and my ex never cooked. That was a really terrible reading. I'm doing it again. It really has been a long while since someone else has been in my apartment, and my ex never cooked. There's something really heartwarming about watching your partner make you breakfast. Aww. Get ready for that to be like the next like 5 episodes of the series. It's just, aw, that's so cute. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, I love that. Because like, listen. I don't want to keep like referencing back to the Please Be Happy 2 too much, but like it was like the last visual novel that I finished that was also a romance, and that's like basically what like most of the second half of that story also was just, oh, that's so sweet. Oh, they're so cute. Oh, they're so good. Oh, I love that, you know? So just get ready for the like the next couple episodes to just be that. Soon enough, the food's ready. We both sit down on the couch to eat it together. As Rai approaches, the cats all scatter to the 4 winds. Scatter? Even though Rai doesn't have a face, his disappointment is palpable. There. I have really nice cats. They'll warm up to you eventually, especially if you keep staying over. Are you inviting me to stay here for the whole weekend? Or for the whole week? Sure, why not? Save yourself some money. Really? If you're okay with it, I'm okay with it. Of course I'm okay with it. Thanks, Francis. I'll bring up my stuff after we eat. All my bags are still in my car. Rai sounds really touched. I guess this is moving a little fast, but I feel like we really connected last night. It'd be too cold to chase him away to his hotel after that. Besides, with how busy he is and how much he travels, I want to spend as much time with him as possible when he can be here. That's actually what I was thinking, is like, if he can only be here for like a week anyways, might as well just have him stay over so you can constantly see him. Also, wait, where'd the crystal thing in his head go? Is that why I didn't notice it? Because it just wasn't there before? Or was it like something in the background that was like kind of blending in with the smoke? I don't know. I can't tell. Hopefully you guys like saw what I was talking about when I said like there's a crystal thing in his head. I don't know. I don't know. So how's the food? As good as Waffle House? You're joking, right? Waffle House is becoming my standard for breakfast food. Oh, no. Don't say that. Rai, this is much better than Waffle House. Rai chuckles, sounding pleased with himself. I've never actually had a Waffle House. I don't even know if there's any within, like, miles and miles of me. So I don't know if I ever will. And based on how she's talking about it, I don't know if I ever want to. After we finish eating, I take our plates and stuff to the sink. And wash them. I do not want my dishes piling up like they did the day before. While I'm doing that, Rai gets his stuff out of his car and settles in. I want to take a quick shower. Okay, go for it. There are fresh towels in the cabinet above the toilet. Gotcha, thanks. Oh, yeah, I know, it's something on her wall. Oh, okay. Here, I'll show you guys, since I have the mouse that's still able for you guys to see, which I need to change, but it works right now. This thing The way he was standing before, it looked like this was like coming out of him or like floating above his neck. So it made me confused. Like, has that crystal thing always been there? Oh my gosh. But no, never mind, never mind. It's something that's just on the wall. Oh, that was a weird time for a yawn. I don't feel tired at all. Gotcha, thanks. Rye disappears into the bathroom, and I soon hear the sound of the shower. It doesn't take long for him to come back out. I've only just dried the dishes and put them away when Rye emerges once more. Oh, I'm sorry. I would have helped first if I'd known you were doing the dishes. No worries. You cooked, so it's only right if I do something too. You're so dedicated. Rye says this with no small amount of reverence. I think back to the ghastly pile of dishes and pans that filled my sink just the other day and laugh nervously. I can't say I'm always so dedicated, but I can't have the place messy when you're here. A little mess never hurt anybody. No, I'm serious. Please don't enable me. I make us each a cup of oolong tea before we settle in on the couch. I don't think I've ever had oolong tea before, but it's good. Kind of earthy. Right? It's got a lot of caffeine in it, and it's great after a meal. Helps digestion and stuff. Rye bows lightly a few times. I wonder if that's the Dullahan version of a nod. Certainly seems that way. So, what are your plans for the day? What are our plans for the day? I figured we could stay in today. I'm sure you're tired. After all, he was zoning out a lot yesterday, even when we went out to eat. This is his first break after months of touring, so I'm sure Rye could use some rest. I'm actually feeling pretty refreshed after a good night's sleep. So, Dullahans do have to sleep. I had wondered seeing how late you were up all the time. I don't think we have to sleep as much as humans do. I'm usually good to go after 3 or 4 hours of sleep. That's so not fair. Rye pauses for a moment before adding thoughtfully. Though if I do that for too long, I end up spacing out a lot like I did yesterday. Okay, so you are just a normal person. You are just like a normal person, because if a person does that too, that's basically what happens with them. Also, my controller just fell off my leg. That was like the scariest thought. I like slightly shifted and then suddenly it was just slipping away. Body telling you that it's tired? That doesn't sound like you're really good to go. You're probably right. But it's not like the folk have doctors to tell us what's best for our bodies. We just do what feels right. I do sleep when I feel tired. I think Rye is just a workaholic. It's got nothing to do with him being a Dullahan. I shake my head helplessly. He knows his body's best, I suppose, and he's lived fine all this time. Even so, I think it'd be a good idea to take it easy for today. Okay, sure. That does sound nice. What do you normally do on your days off? Rye has to think about this for a while. Something tells me he doesn't have a lot of days off. Right, music? Isn't that still work? Okay, yes, but I enjoy it. It doesn't have to be for Dryden. Sometimes I just like making music for the hell of it. Alright, anything else? Oh no. Oh no. I'm relating too hard to him right now. Crickets. Nothing but crickets. Is this guy serious? Sensing the judgment from my incredulous stare, Rye begins twiddling his thumbs. Well, what do you do on your days off, Francis? I do the usual things like chores, reading, cooking. I used to play games on my computer, but haven't in a long while. Of course, I spend a lot of time binge-watching TV shows online. Oh, like the Korean dramas you talked about before? Yeah, now that you mention it, since we have more time, we could watch one of those. That sounds nice. Maybe we could play some games together later, too. Oh, really living the best life. Well, never mind. Well, I only have my one computer. No problem. Let's have consoles delivered. Let's have a console delivered. Whoa, I don't know what to say here. I don't, to be rich and famous. Like, you know, that's like kind of like a joke, but the ... implies that it might not be. And then, are you sure? I feel like I'm going to say, are you sure? Because that's probably what I would, listen, that's the way I was like leaning towards like what she'd probably say anyways. Like that feels like the Francis thing to say. But like, even I would be like, are you sure? Delivered? Are you sure? Games are pretty expensive. I don't want you to spend a bunch of money for something we only need for a little while. Also, my mouse, stay away. There we go. I wanted to stay off the screen. Huh. Also, I guess it technically isn't for only a little while, because, like, you know, if he ever comes back to visit, then you guys have it to play, you know? I feel like that makes sense. Granted, it's still a ton of money to spend all at once, but still. Rye laughs heartily. I haven't played games in a long time either. It'll be nice. Besides, I can bring this with me on tour after. Besides, I can bring this on tour with me after. I'm sure Virgil would like it too. That's true. Well, hey, I'm not gonna tell you how to spend your money. I'm sure we'll have fun with it. Rye bows his assent. Alright, so why don't you decide on which Korean drama we're gonna watch, and I'll pick out some games we could try. Sounds like a plan. The two of us get to our individual tasks with utter seriousness. Since this will be Rye's first time watching a Korean drama, I need to make sure that I need to make sure I pick one that leaves a good impression. You're Beautiful is a good one, but since it's about musicians, it might not be relaxing, or Rye might nitpick it for being unrealistic. Then again, that doesn't seem like something Rye would do. Would it? Oh wait. No wait. No wait. He's so serious and perfectionist about music that he might just. Hotel Del Luna is another good one. It's already been proven that Rye has no problem with scary movies and stuff. Not that it's a horror series, but it does have its moments. Alright, so these are definitely going to be things I need to look up later. Because, like, having a K-drama that's kind of scary, ooh. Especially because, like, people keep recommending, like, not K-dramas, but, like, granted, I have had, like, my aunt and uncle have been recommending me some K-dramas that I need to hit them up for, like, get their names again. But there's, like, been, like, a dating show called, like, I think it's called, like, Lover's Inferno, which is apparently just, like, the most wholesome dating show on the planet. Like, it's just genuinely people, like, being in love and being adorable. I'm like, if you couldn't tell, that does sound like something I would enjoy watching, so I need to hit that up. But I also need to make note of these so that I can actually remember to look them up later. I wouldn't mind watching it again. Though. Whereas You're Beautiful might be kind of a slog. When I bring the choice to Rye, he picks the second one without hesitation. That's interesting. I thought you might go with You're Beautiful since it's about music. Aren't you the one who said I should have a break from music? Not in so many words. I'm glad that he ended up choosing the one I was leaning towards more. With that choice made, I helped Rye narrow down his list of games to a more manageable size. I'm not sure I'd enjoy a racing game. I've never driven. I don't even know which pedal's the gas pedal. Good thing in a game you don't really need to know that, so I don't think racing games are supposed to resemble real driving. I gasp in fake surprise. What? You mean that they don't shoot banana peels and Koopa shells at other cars in the Autobahn? I don't know what that word is. As someone who's actually driven on the Autobahn, I can tell you with great authority. Rye takes a deep breath as if he's about to announce something incredibly serious and important. I am struggling so much to read today. Rye takes a deep breath as if he's about to announce something incredibly serious and important, but then exhales it all in an amused huff. No, they definitely don't do any of that. It occurs to me that Rye inhales and exhales despite his headlessness. I suppose he still has lungs? Okay, well, whatever. I'm willing to give it a try, sure. Rye bows and makes the order for the console and stack of games, which should be arriving sometime tomorrow. Rye and I split the blanket already on the couch between us and get ready for a binge-watching session. Oh, I forgot how creepy the first episode is at certain points. The ghost with no eyes! I scooch closer to Rye, seeking out some warmth and comfort. I do feel ridiculous considering I've watched this whole drama before. Isn't it silly to be scared the second time around? I do have the advantage now of now knowing that the ghost won't be around too much, but still... Francis? Rye's voice is soft and entreating. Then a pause, followed by a low chuckle which sends my heart racing. You're scared of the ghost? She's long left the screen, but the image is still in my head. I nod desperately. I don't have eyes either, though. It's not the same! Man, I feel like I'm losing my pride as the older one in this relationship. At least last time when we watched Train to Busan, Rye didn't actually get to witness me getting so scared. This time, I guess I'm more squeamish than I thought. Though I'm perfectly able to accept having a boyfriend who's headless, if that eyeless ghost ever appeared in front of me, I'd have a hard time being kind. Though I'm perfectly able to accept having a boyfriend who's headless, if that eyeless ghost ever appeared in front of me, I'd have a hard time being kind. Then suddenly, but gently, Rai threads his hand between my back and the couch and hooks my waist, pulling me closer. We really don't have to watch this if it scares you. I know you're not good with this sort of thing. No, I mean, I've watched this before. Still, I never want you to feel uncomfortable or scared. If it scares you, then don't look at it. I bring my gaze up, resting on the billowing smoke that is Rai's face. Time seems to freeze for a moment as I try to make my feelings and intentions clear. Rai, you know that even if this is special... Rai, you know that even if it's... You know that even if this is special effects... Wait. You know that even if this special effects ghost scares me, you don't, right? I'm not scared of you. Rai doesn't say anything, but his torso is turned to face me. The electricity between us feels the same as eye contact, as understanding. Though he doesn't reply, I feel his grip tighten on my waist. I lean on Rai, my head resting on his shoulder and part of my back touching his chest. He's solid and warm. Rai? What's up? I'm really glad you're here. When he laughs, I can feel the rumble in his chest. Me too. And so, Rai and I pass a quiet, occasionally scary afternoon together. Aww, that was great. I'm gonna be saying that a lot too, just how great this all is. Hang on, I need agua. There we go. Our relaxing day at home ends up stretching across the entire weekend. Even if we wanted to go out, the city is crawling with people for Easter weekend, so it's best we just stay in. After all, diehard Dryden fans know that Rai is here in K-City right now. Hotel de Luna has 16 episodes, which isn't the longest show I've ever binge-watched, not by a long shot. It's technically possible to finish off in one sitting, even. It's technically possible to finish it off in one sitting, even, but Rai's not used to that, and as I've gotten older, it's been harder for me to get by on less sleep. I remember the days in college when I used to pull all-nighters to finish research papers, or stay up all night talking to a friend. If I try that now, I'll feel like shit and my eye bags will look even more like bruises. Dude, listen, I've always had like trouble staying up, like even when I was like a wee youngin', you know, I say as if I'm old, but you know, I'm a little older. At 23, I'm a little older, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But when I was like younger, even then I still wasn't like, oh, I can go to bed at like 3 in the morning, wake up at 7, go to school kind of person. Everyone else was like that, but I've never been like that. And now it's just like so much worse. Like for me, my bedtime is between 11 and 12, and if I go to bed after that, I will be grumpy, and the next day I'll feel terrible and wake up very late. So it's like I don't have the body to handle going to bed late and doing like all-nighters like that anymore. It just doesn't work. So I get it. Hey, now that I think about it, that's one more thing Rai doesn't have to worry about. Eye bags, or hell, moisturizer period. Anyway, it turns out, or shaving, or any kind of face wash, nothing like that. It turns out Rai bought us each a Nintendo handheld Switch? It's basically a really big Game Boy. I haven't had one of these since I was a kid. He bought Virtual one too. So we've taken to watching a couple episodes of the drama, and then spending time playing games together. In between, one or both of us will cook. It's all very domestic. The part where Rai always kicks my ass in Mario Tennis notwithstanding. This sounds like a great weekend. Like, yeah, I also do love getting out and taking walks. So, like, you know, if they literally said, in between every couple of episodes, we go for a walk, and then we play a game together, and then we'd go for a walk, like that kind of thing. Perfect weekend right there. Rai's been a good roommate. He's been sleeping on the couch, which I feel bad about, but he refused to take the bed, so what else can I do? It feels a little funny waking up every morning and seeing another much smaller row. Why is the controller vibrating so aggressively right now? I have no idea. It's just going wild. It feels a little funny waking up every morning and seeing another, much smaller row of toiletries in the bathroom next to mine. Oh, that's great. We seem to get along well living together. Rai and I are about the same level of cleanliness. We both cook, clean, so we can both cook and don't mind cleaning. It's honestly pretty blissful. Except the cats are still shunning him. Poor Rai. It's a bit past sunset when we finally It's a bit past sunset when we finally finish watching Hotel del Luna. Even though I've seen it before, the ending still has me in tears. Rai, having sensed my distress from earlier on, has had his arm around me for a while. At this point, I'm just one step away from being in his lap. It feels really good to have someone else to lean on, literally and figuratively. It's been so long since I've dated anyone that I've convinced myself that I was okay without being loved. Oh, that's a sad thought, but also hashtag relatable. I'm too busy to be lonely. Stop attacking me. That's literally a thought I've had before. That's what I told myself. But it was just my feeble attempt at making excuses. The truth was that I was lonely. And confronting that scares me because at the end of this week, Rai will be gone again. It was easier to deal with his absence before we spent quality time together. Can't miss what you never had, you know? I feel like a loser. I feel like a loser getting so attached to him when we haven't even been dating for all that long. Whoa, what an ending. As the credits roll, Rai says this with no small amount of emotion. I imagine if he had eyes, they'd at least be tearing up. The thought brings a smile to my face. Told you it was good. I fully believe in your sense of taste now. You've got to recommend me more stuff to watch. I'm hooked. Sure, though you'll be hard-pressed to find another drama quite like this one. How do you feel about melodramatic romance? I'm sure our idea of melodramatic is pretty different. No one does melodramatic romance like the folk, trust me. Really? Yeah, well the folk can't lie, so when they confess they're usually transient love to each other. They do so in a way that leaves a lot of loopholes. Can you imagine the relationship drama that comes from that? Loopholes? Like, you know, the phrase, "till death do us part." Of course. That phrase doesn't specify whose death, right? Could be anyone's, really. Oh, and so then there's the perfect excuse to break up once their feelings have faded. Well, there's been a death, so time to part. I see. Without those turns of phrase, we'd enter into a pact. Like if a fae were to say, "Tell your death, we shall not part," they'd literally have to be tied to that other person until that person's death. Hold up. You said the folk can't lie. Aren't you one of the folk? Yep, so I can't lie. Though, like any proper fae, I've learned to leave myself exit routes. Huh. So it's comforting to know that he can't lie. Although it might be pretty inconvenient for Rai. Maybe he's used to it by now. I'll say I've never lied to you. Because I don't want to be like, so you've left some loopholes in our relationship, yada yada, because I feel like that could hurt his feelings. You know? Like, he'd take it a little more serious than I'd admit. Like, if I ever said that, I'd be like, haha, so you left some loopholes? Winky face. But I don't know if she's gonna mean it that way. And if she doesn't, then, like, that would really hurt Rai's feelings. You know what I mean? Even so, when I think about it, even knowing that there can be loopholes in what he says, Rai's invested so much of himself into our relationship. If it gets out that he's dating a civilian, his popularity could take a hit. He really gets time off, but is spending it with me. And he's revealed such big secrets to me. Secrets that could ruin him if they became public knowledge. He has so much more to lose. If it makes you feel better, I've never lied to you, Rai. Not intentionally anyway. I remember that his closed circle profile mentioned that he wanted to find someone who's real. Someone who's honest. He has to be honest. It's only fair that I try my best to be too. Not that I was feeling bad, but hearing that does make me feel better. Thanks, Francis. He gives my shoulder an appreciative squeeze. Anywho, it's about time for dinner, huh? How do you feel about having pasta tonight? Are there really people who'd say no to pasta? Oh, that was Rai saying the second part. People who are allergic to delicious food? Or cheese, or basil or something. Well, I'm not allergic to any of those things, so pasta sounds great. All right. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing right there. Right here, baby. It's a really cool looking decoration. I thought it was a part of Rai's body. I can't even lie about it. Oh, I feel so silly. That whole time, like, that scene was happening where I was like, wait, what's that crystal in Rai? I was thinking, like, how did I not notice that? The whole time he had his helmet off. How did I do that? Turns out, I didn't. It doesn't take me long to whip up some pasta Alfredo. We finish eating it in even less time. so full. I did tell you that having a second plate would be a bad idea. Don't say I didn't warn you. I ate too fast. I didn't even realize I was full. That must be really easy to do and you don't even have to really stop to chew. Hashtag just Dolahan problems. With a dramatic sigh, Rai plops down onto the couch, dislodging Phaeton and hisses in apparent indignation. Now my cat knows what it feels like to have his seat taken from him. Ha! Looking at Rai, sprawled out on the couch, I feel like he resembles Cream. He's not nearly as fluffy, but just as soft. Rai, do you need me to rub your tummy? At that, Rai makes an extremely comical sputtering noise. My sudden forwardness surprises even me, but I've already said the word, so there's no going back now. I take his reaction as a yes and sit down on the couch next to him. He doesn't move away. Rai relaxes some once I sit down, and I gently push his torso down until his neck is in my lap. I then start rubbing his stomach, alternating between a back and forth motion and circular strokes. Though Rai tenses at first, he eventually goes completely limp and relaxes his body weight on my lap. I guess he likes it. His cloud of smoke billows upwards closer to my face than it's ever been. The smoke has a very distinct scent. It's how I'd expect a forest to smell. There's a fresh cedar scent, but it also smells earthly and faintly burnt. I wonder if you could, like, put, like, a deodorant or, like, chlorine? Cologne. What? Turns out, Dolahans are just like pools. You need to put some chlorine in them, otherwise they're not very, like, safe to swim in for your skin. No, I wonder if he could, like, colognes his smoke. That's very weird. That's a weird thought. There's fresh cedar, but... Oh, we already read that. You have really nice abs. I wanted to break the silence, but why was that the thing that I ended up blurting out? I wanted to break the silence, but why was that what I ended up blurting out? Oh, thanks. You've got to have a certain amount of stamina to pull off big music shows, so Virgil and I both work out pretty regularly. Oh, well, I'll just have to roll with it. Makes sense, you know? I thought this before, but even though you don't have a head, the rest of your body looks really good. Ah, he's making that sputtering sound again. This time, since his body's in my lap, I noticed what I didn't earlier. The very top of his neck is tinged red. Rai is blushing? That's pretty cute. My mental encyclopedia of unique Dolahan body language continues to expand. Just because I have to be honest all the time doesn't mean you have to. I thought you wanted someone real. I can't help teasing. Maybe not so real. My heart can't take it. I burst out laughing at that. Rai's so damn cute. Harbinger of death indeed. I go back to earnestly stroking his washboard abs. Does this help? Yeah, I think I do feel a little less full, actually. Oh my gosh, Rai's smoke is billowing up into the shape of a heart. That's so cute. Is he aware that it's doing that? That's incredible, and it looks so good, too. I love the way that the smoke looks. Like, it looks so cool and unique. I love how it looks. And the fact that it actually has, like, different shapes instead of just, like, the one shape, it's very cool. He must feel really comfortable right now. That's good. But next time, don't eat so much. If I were to ever get a stomach rub every time I overeat, though... Hey. Alright, I'll try. The smoke changed back to its regular shape. Now that he's pointed it out, I'm starting to notice all the little loopholes Rai leaves himself. Still, I don't actually mind this one too much. Today, Rai has to go into the studio. He actually booked it for yesterday too, but we got so caught up in playing games that we completely lost track of time. Rai ended up getting his revenge for me teasing him so much by kicking my ass in Mario Kart and Mario Tennis. Multiple times. To be fair, I've never driven a car in real life. How can I be good at Mario Kart? Come on now. But also, neither of us have ever played tennis, so I've got no excuse there. There's also something to be said for the argument that neither Mario Kart nor Mario Tennis reflect real-life driving or tennis in any way, but that way of thinking certainly doesn't do me any favors. I guess as a consolation prize for me, Rai cooked all of the meals for the day. Anyway, having wasted one of his 2 studio days, Rai's absolutely got to go in today. Since I'm very necessary staff, according to Rai, I tag along and pack my Game Boy and book into the bag to pass the time. I love that she still calls it the Game Boy. You're sure it's okay for me to go? Of course, more than it being just okay. I want you to be there, unless you'd rather not. I now never have to think that Rai is just saying things to be nice and spur my feelings. He can only tell the truth after all. my laughs are always so awkward. That's why I tend to not do the laughs when they do it. Alright, I don't need that much convincing. I'm actually pretty curious about this music making process. I only get to hear the end results, you know? You always hear the artist talk about hitting the studio or whatever, and now I actually get to see what that entails. Getting to go backstage at the Dryden concert last time gave me a newfound appreciation for the crew that works behind the scenes too. Dryden is made up of just 2 people, but there's so many staff members behind them supporting them. Rai puts his helmet on and gestures for me to leave out the door first. I demur. Can you do that thing again? Really? Maybe if it's totally normal to you, but I didn't grow up being able to use magic, you know. Please? I fix Rai with my best puppy eyes before he sighs and steps forward. As he reaches for the apartment door, the lock suddenly snaps open and the door unlocks. Only then do I gleefully exit my apartment, with Rai following behind me shaking his head. Maybe that'll get old one of these days, but it hasn't yet. That's such a useful power to have. It's not as practical as you think. I can unlock doors, but I can't lock them, and my power doesn't allow me to disable alarms. Damn, you've given this a lot of thought. I know that Rai's more amused at me than annoyed, though. I can hear it in his doting tone. Since he can't, apparently, I lock the door, and then we hop into the Porsche. Wow, this really is my reality now, huh? I'm just hopping in and out of Porsches. How far is the studio from here? Like 15 or 20 minutes away? Depends on traffic. I nod after buckling my seatbelt. I decide to play some single-player Mario Tennis. Rai puts the car into gear before looking over at me and chuckling. Practicing? I'm determined to beat you at least once. He laughs at me again and then maneuvers the Porsche out of the parking lot. Why did I say maneuvers like that? Maneuvers. It doesn't take long for us to reach the studio, just as Rai said. He immediately gets to work. As you'd probably expect, it's pretty disjointed. Rai spends a lot of time picking out just the right instruments and noises and stuff, then plays a few notes, stops, changes the instrument, plays a few more notes, stops, rinse, and repeat. It's cool to watch at first, but naturally it gets dull after a while, so I spend most of my time on my phone or playing Mario Tennis quietly. I do feel a little guilty when I see the novel I tucked into my bag. I keep bringing it around with me, deluding myself into thinking that I'll actually read it. I need to stop lying to myself. I'm never gonna read it. At least she's honest with herself. After a few hours go by, the song starts sounding more cohesive. I put down my phone and listen more closely. Hey, I like this. I heard a teaser of Dryden's newest single online, and it's pretty lighthearted, but this song sounds rather dark. This is sounding good, Rai. Is this for Dryden? Rai flinches before turning towards the corner where I'm sitting. It seems he forgot I was here, but I'm not offended or anything. He was absolutely really focused. Now I feel bad for disturbing him. I'm about to apologize when Rai replies, I think so. I mean, I don't think I want to give it to another artist. I already wrote the lyrics for this, and they're pretty personal. Whoa, you have lyrics already? He bows. I've been working on them bit by bit this week. Hey, you were supposed to be taking a break. I thought you couldn't lie. Technically I said that the idea of taking a break sounded nice. I never actually agreed to it. Damn, those loopholes. The Fae really are a bunch of tricksters. Rai is really cute and soft, but it's times like this that reminds me that I shouldn't underestimate him either. Looking at my phone again, I realize it's just past 3 o'clock. No wonder I was starting to get hungry. Hey, it's gotten pretty late. What should we do about food? Oh, you're right. Rai pulls out his phone and types away on it. My manager's coming. I'll tell him to pick up some food for us. Oh, he won't mind? Nah. Oh, he says he's already on the way with food. Sometimes I'm in the studio all day and forget to eat, so I think George is pretty used to it. Yep, Rye's a workaholic, alright. It's good that he's got someone like George to support him when he's working. Does Virgil not participate in writing music? He really can't be bothered. Sometimes he can't really be bothered. Sometimes when I'm talking about Once in a Blue Moon here, inspiration strikes him and he writes some lyrics or composes a hook. But Virgil's always said that he's content to just sing whatever I tell him to. That's the part he enjoys. How carefree. Everyone's got something they're good at or enjoy. I enjoy making music and he enjoys singing it. That's synergy. That's true. You two obviously have a good thing going. I mean, Dryden's won how many Grammy Awards? Not that that should necessarily be considered the be all end all of the music industry, but still, it's got to count for something. George comes by after that with fried chicken in tow. Hey, Francis. Hey, Francis. Good to see you again. I don't remember what voice I gave him. Hi, George. Thanks for bringing us food. No problem, no problem. At this point, Rye is wrapped up in his composition again. He doesn't even notice George come in. Is he always like this? Rye? Yeah, one time he was in the studio for almost 48 hours straight. We had to practically drag him out of the building. But he didn't come in yesterday, right? I nod. That's really out of character for Rye. We both watch Rye for a bit as he twists dials and mashes buttons, controlling aspects of music that I don't even know the names for. Rye, food's here. I call out to him gently. I don't want to interrupt his creative process, but he needs to eat eventually. Huh? Oh, go ahead and start eating first. I'll try to join you in a bit. I need to go in and record this while I still have that in my head. Rye disappears into the sound booth and presumably starts singing into the microphone. I can't hear it since the room's soundproof, of course. I didn't know Rye sang. Just for demos, Virgil always sings the final version of the tracks. I can't help but wonder what his singing voice sounds like. You know, other than Virgil, myself, or one of his few collaborators, Rye's never allowed anyone else in the studio with him like this before. I tear my eyes away from Rye inside the sound booth and look up at George. He's smiling kindly at me. Really? I can't help but ask incredulously. Yep, and I've been with him and Virgil since the very beginning. I've seen how he's changed since you two started dating. I think you're a good influence for him, Francis. I tilt my head, a little skeptical. Me? Influence Rye? I don't think he's changed since we started dating, though. But George has known Rye a lot longer than I have. If he's saying so, there ought to be something to it. If that's true, then I'm glad. He's been so supportive of me, too. If I can do the same for him... George pats me on the shoulder. Take good care of him. I will, I promise. I know I'm not beholden to keep my promises the same way Rye is, but Rye really does mean so much to me. George beams when he hears this. We're counting on you then. And hey, I was serious about you being a good roadie. Haha. George leaves after doing some stuff on the computer, leaving me alone to watch over Rye. Pop songs are only a few minutes long, but so much work goes into crafting each one. I feel a renewed sense of admiration for my music producer boyfriend. Hang on, I need water. I need to drink. There we go. There we go. All right, hang on. Let me move that back over there. I got a little scared when that that track popped up, the music. I was like, oh no, did I somehow get a bad end that I didn't mean to? Oh, that's terrible. Please, no. Please don't. But we're good. We're good. We're still going. We're still going. I'm glad that we haven't gotten a bad end since, like, the first one. After that, it's all just been smooth sailing. Watch it be that there just wasn't, like, an opportunity to get any bad ends since then. And so now that we're, like, here to, like, I'm about to actually get one because I picked all of the wrong options. I could see me doing that. It's not until much later that the two of us finally leave the studio. To his credit, Rye did end up eating his food, but it certainly took a lot of nagging on my part. Now we're driving back to my place. Sorry we were there for so long. You must have been bored. Not at all. It was interesting watching you, and I brought things to entertain myself. I have a newfound appreciation for pop music that I know what all goes into it. Are you hungry? Should we pick up some more food? Nah, George brought so much food. I was snacking on the side while you were working, so I'm not hungry at all. What about you? I'm okay. I just don't want you to go hungry. Trust me, between the two of us, I'm not the one who will go hungry due to being overly focused on work. Rai laughs lightly. Well, you're not wrong. Hey, kitties! Did you miss us? The first order of business was making sure the cats are situated. Their water and food supply still look alright. Hi, kitties. Rai makes a valiant attempt at socializing, but the cats rebuff him once again. At least I don't hiss at him this time. Yay for progress. There. I pat Rai on the back. So the song... Excuse me, my voice caught in my throat. So the song's done, right? I think so. I'll have to put it aside for a bit and see how I feel about it later, but I'm done for now. Okay, then this calls for some hot chocolate. Rai bows. That sounds good. I love how he bows to nod. Like, I know they kind of already, like, brought that up, but it's just like, of course, how else is he supposed to just nod, you know? He can't. He has to, like, move his whole body with it. It's such a fun little, like, detail to put in there. I ready 2 mugs, get out the hot chocolate mix and marshmallows, and then start boiling the water. This is my very fancy hot chocolate that I save for special occasions. Oh, I'm very honored that you're busting it out for me then. Well, it's not every day that I get to watch my boyfriend compose the hit song. Well, in that case, I'll make sure you get to see it more often. I like that. Soon enough, the water's done boiling. I pour it into the mugs and mix in the hot chocolate mix, then plop in a few marshmallows for myself. Rai, who I've come to learn really likes sweets, scoops in a much more generous serving of marshmallows. Is that really hot chocolate anymore, or just vaguely chocolate-flavored marshmallow soup? Oh, well, to each their own. We take a seat on the couch and start enjoying our drinks. Wow, I can see why you say they're for special occasions. It's so creamy, even with water. Yeah, I've tried using hot milk with it, but I think it just tastes too sweet that way. This is just perfect. I agree. We settle into a relaxed silence. Rai finishes his hot chocolate long before I do. Does he not have to wait for it to cool? Does his smoke even register the temperature of food and liquids? That'd be not fair. That's not fair. I would love if I could just chug down my hot chocolate as soon as I get it, instead of having to wait for it to, like, cool down. When I lower my mug after a long sip, I notice Rai watching me. It's hard to explain how I know he's looking at me, but I can feel it somehow. What is it? Is there something on my face? Rai chuckles. Not exactly, He pauses, starts over. I just think you're really beautiful. That's all. What? Me? I've literally never been told that before. If it wasn't for the fact that I know Rai can't lie, I definitely think he was lying. I know myself. I have a healthy amount of vanity and self-confidence, but beautiful is a very strong word. Well, now you have, so what are you gonna do about it? There's a hint of challenge in his voice. I'm suddenly very aware of Rai's hand resting on my waist, his index finger idly trailing up and down the curve. I put my mug down ever so slowly and raise my eyes, never straying from Rai's face. The undulating smoke seems denser than usual. Try as I might, I can't read any emotions from it, even so. Rai? I swallow. All of a sudden my throat feels so dry. Before, you said Dullhans can kiss, right? I did say that. Okay. I'm obviously going to do this just because I want to, even if neither of these can lead to a bad end, I want to try both anyways. But you know what? We're just going to ask for it. Can you show me? You're asking me to demonstrate? While sounding amused, Rai leans in closer. Yes? My voice comes out as barely a whisper. Rai's hand stops moving, and then he brings it to my face. In an almost reverent motion, he removes my glasses and places them on the coffee table. With that out of the way, Rai wraps his other arm around me, his hand coming to rest on the back of my neck. Then he shakes his feet. For some reason, my brain filled that in as he snaps. So I was like, oh my gosh, he snaps her neck. What? Then he snakes his fingers into my hair and lightly tugs, tilting my head back as he simultaneously leans forward. And then my head is inside that cloud of smoke. I panic for a moment, but then I hear Rai's voice all around me. Relax. Breathe. I squeeze my eyes shut, but do as he says. I'm enveloped by the scent of pine trees. That's been painted over with a thick layer of sweet chocolate. I sense the smoke entering my mouth, my body, but instead of suffocating, I feel like I'm floating and sinking into the smoke at the same time. My head feels light. I can taste the chocolate now. The flavor of burning wood smoke bursts on my tongue. It's so warm here, so hot. And then I feel Rai pull away. The scent of cedar and chocolate starts to recede, but I still feel warm all over as I bat my eyes open. How was it? Rai laughs and I feel it at the same time that I hear it as if it was... Rai laughs and I feel it at the same time that I hear it as if we're still connected. I've never felt anything like that before. I'd expect not. I realize all of a sudden that he's shaking. Rai? Sorry, I've been worried. About what? I was afraid you'd be disgusted by this, by me. My heart aches when I hear the vulnerability in his voice. Oh no, Rai, I could never be disgusted by you. Please don't ever think that. I wrap my arms around him and pull Rai against my chest. I had been wondering why you weren't making any moves this week. I mean, you'd put your arm around me while you were watching Hotel Del Luna, but that was about it. Rai lets out a sigh and then chuckles, self-deprecatingly. Sounds like we're both overthinking things. Yep. Rai begins slowly stroking my waist and back. One of his hands dips under my skirt and grazes my lower back, sending a jolt of electricity down my spine. He's about to lean in for another kiss when I stop him. Can we move this into my room? It's bright out here. He laughs, the pitch a bit lower than usual. I have really good night vision, remember? I'll be able to see everything regardless. Okay, yes, but the cats are also out here. Rai freezes. Right, okay. He suddenly scoops me up into his arms before rising from the couch and heading for my room. Okay, those abs weren't just for show. Misty is sitting up high on a kitchen shelf and seems to be scowling at us, but Rai carries me into my bedroom and shuts all three of the cats out. So now... There was, like, DLC for, like, the spicy scenes, but I did not download it. I didn't, so I don't know if it'll just, like, skip or if things will be censored or what. Again, if this does get a little too adult for Twitch or YouTube to handle, then I'll just start clicking on through. But, so I'll play it up until that point, basically. Rai gently lowers me onto the bed and kisses me. The smoke fills my brain with a heady sort of rapture. Francis, are we... Yes. I almost growl as I pull him back in for another kiss, inhaling the smoke and feeling it fill me completely. Rai and I come together as one, passion and smoke filling up the room throughout the night. Okay, so it is just gonna skip ahead. Okay. That's what I planned on, so everything works out good. It's well after noon when I wake up. I think because the sunlight pouring in is so bright that it almost hurts to open my eyes. I feel refreshed somehow in body and spirit, except for a dull ache in my lower back. Fighting against that pain, I pull myself out of bed and stretch, bending forward to touch my toes before getting dressed. Rai, he's very sweet, but I definitely saw a different side of him last night. Speaking of which, where is he? Rai? I'm in the kitchen. Sorry to leave you alone. I was just about to bring you breakfast in bed. I thought you'd still be asleep for a little while longer. It's okay. Now that I'm up, I do feel pretty hungry. I look at the table to see a stack of bacon already fried up, a jug of orange juice, and some hash browns. The eggs are finishing up on the stove. Confession, the hash browns were originally frozen. I didn't have time to cook that myself. He laughs sheepishly, but I just shake my head. I don't know that anybody aside Martha Stewart types bother making hash browns from scratch. When did you get all this stuff? Early. It was hard for me to sleep. I was so full of inspiration. Oh, I did eventually doze off, so Rai stayed awake after that? I ran off to the studio again to change some things in that song I was working on. I think I just about got it now. And you went grocery shopping? You did so much while I was sleeping. It was nice shopping early. There wasn't anyone else in there. Stars, they're just like us. They too buy bacon and things from Target. Are you sure you're not tired? Not at all. I feel great. Rai hums a little tune as he pokes the eggs on the skillet with a spatula. Okay, either he's like thinking he's good because he's like duped up on like adrenaline and stuff, or like did doing what they did, like just kissing her and like doing the sexy times, like did he like suck some like life out of her? Because like that could be a way he's going, because he is like a harbinger of death and such. So now I'm slightly concerned, just slightly. Either way, I'm concerned that he's being a workaholic, working all throughout the night and not sleeping at all, and stuff. But I also at the same time I'm worried like if that's not why he's like, if he's not actually tired, then why is it? You know, I don't know. Rai hums a little tune as he pokes the eggs on the skillet with a spatula. Once they're cooked through to his satisfaction, he plates the eggs and pulls out a chair for me to sit down. Thanks, Rai. This looks really, really good. He beams like the sun. He beams like the sun at that. Rai sits across from me as we eat. I'm resting my head in the palm of my left hand as we eat. As I eat, when Rai reaches forward, pulling my hand towards him to hold it in his. Hey now, I've lost my chin rest. Sorry. No, you're not. You left out the I'm in that apology. I'm onto your tricks now. The two of us share a laugh. We both end up eating one-handed, though it's significantly easier for Rai to do so than it is for me. It feels a little childish, a little ticklish, and very, very sweet. Aww. After brunch, we play some Mario Tennis. I finally beat Rai in a game. Guess all that practice I did while I was working has paid off. My memories of dozens of losses instantly evaporate. I gracefully celebrate my win by cheering and shouting a bunch of stuff like, "Take that, Ryan! I'm the best!" Rai is sitting hunched over, his hands steepled in front of his cloud of smoke. His shoulders are shaking as he tries his hardest not to laugh. I guess the laugh would be to admit his total defeat. I can't resist poking him to make him crack. Who's awesome? Tell me who's awesome. You are by far the sorest winner ever. Okay, but I beat you. Might is right, might is right. I playfully jab him a few more times to the side, somewhere in his ribs. Finally fed up, Rai stops my next poke by grabbing my hand with his and then pivoting onto his hip to pin me underneath him on the couch. My hair cascades down the side of the couch, grazing the floor. Rai's knee is sinking into the cushions just between my thighs. Then he leans his upper body down slowly, tantalizingly, and kisses me. My senses are flooding with the increasingly familiar atmosphere of a deep forest. Hey! My voice comes out sulkier than I want it to once he finally pulls away. What was that you said? Might is right? I think you're onto something there. There's humor in his voice. Humor and danger. You're insatiable. Just who was it that kept me up all night, then hit the studio, went grocery shopping, and to top it all off, cooked us brunch? Really, doesn't this guy ever get tired? Only for you, Francis. Careful, that sounded perilously like a pact. Oh no, it was a pact. If I could make that sputtering noise that Rai did the other night, I would damn well be doing it right now. We can't. Oh no, he's pouting. I know it's a playful ruse, but I can't resist that tone. Rai's fingers are on my hair, combing through it, twisting it, and occasionally brushing the side of my neck. Tempting me. It's not fair when you ask like that. Yes or no? There's only one answer. No use playing coy. I do like that it gives you like the quote-unquote option, but then there's the only the one option. That's funny. Yes. I cover my face with both hands to futilely hide the flush I know must be there. What happens to my sense of triumph after winning Mario Tennis? As if to vent his grievances over the show of inelegant gloating earlier, Rai relentlessly pushes me into the couch cushion all afternoon. Oh my gosh. You know what? Good for them. I have a seat on the couch as I dry my hair with a towel. Rai, who doesn't have to worry about drying his hair, sits down next to me and pokes me in the chest. Francis, you're not allowed to call me insatiable after the stunt you pulled today. I playfully roll my eyes. Oh sure, how soon you forget that it's thanks to you that our shower took more than an hour. I never said that I wasn't insatiable, just saying that you're equally so. Well, as the famous Rai from Dryden said, that's synergy. We share a chuckle at that. Alright, well after all that synergizing, I'm really hungry. Ugh, I really don't have the energy to cook now. Waffle House. Looks like we're going to Waffle House. Oh, it's not like the Waffle House is the only restaurant in K-City we can go to. We both know that, but at this point it's become a tradition between us more than anything. Waffle House was where our relationship really started, and every time we go there, it feels like we're renewing our sentiments about each other. Do I sort of wish that we could go to a nicer restaurant? Do that at a nicer restaurant? Maybe. But I am going to change. But am I going to change how we do things now? Probably not. When we pull up to our usual Waffle House, it looks pretty packed inside for a change. Even if we were to get a table, we'd be completely surrounded by people. Granted, they're probably not too concerned with what we're doing, but still, it might be hard for Rye to eat. Ryan and I are still standing outside the Waffle House, trying to decide whether to go in or not when a group of girls comes up to us. Excuse me, are you Rye from Dryden? What does a celebrity do in this situation? Admit it? Play it off? Or I could be like, oh no, I'm just in costume. I guess you'd have to come up with a clever way of deflecting them without lying. Yes, that's me. I had a feeling he wouldn't though, so his answer doesn't surprise me. Ryan and Virgil seem like the type to be really nice to their fans. I knew it! I could tell your helmet's the real deal! Oh wow, my god, we're huge fans! As the girls gush over him, I try to make myself as unnoticeable as possible. Can we take a picture with you? Sure. They crowd around him and pick the tallest girl in the group to snap a selfie. I wonder if they can really fit everyone in that shot. After a few tries, they seem to get the picture that they're satisfied with, so after another stream of compliments, they finally let Rye go and pile into the Waffle House. Damn, those poor girls are going to be waiting for those poor girls are going to be waiting a while for a table. Not that we've gone out a lot or anything, but this is the first time this has happened while Rye and I have been together. I feel like the music is telling me that she's intimidated by it, so I'm going to pick intimidating. Well, part of me is happy that Rye's so popular. Another bigger part of me is also pretty intimidated. Rye's a few years younger than me, but he's rich and successful and well-liked. When I really think about it, I can't help feeling a little like I'm not good enough for him. It's random happenstance that we matched on that app. I don't understand much about the music industry, and I haven't known Rye that long. And at the end of the day, I'm just a librarian and a barista, a librarista. Rye's got it all. Do I really add anything to his life? I just can't understand what George sees. It's not that I'm jealous of Rye. I don't want the life he has, but sometimes when I stop and really look at our relationship, I wonder, what do I bring to the table? The fact that you make Rye happy and that he feels comfortable around you and he can tell you his biggest secrets and yada yada yada. The fact that he loves you. But Rye cares about me. I'm sure he enjoys being with me. I don't doubt that. But what if I... Oh no, I'm starting to feel a little down. I shouldn't be thinking about this. We've been having such a great time. I have no reason to be this way. What the hell am I doing? I suddenly feel Rye's hand on my shoulder, breaking me out of my thoughts. Francis? What's up? I called your name a couple times, but you didn't answer. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I was zoning out there for a sec. What were you saying? What does my face look like right now? I hope I didn't just sour the mood. I forced a smile. I said that we should probably go somewhere else to eat. It's not that late yet. Should we try another restaurant? The thought of having another run-in like the one we just had, it scares me. The fans didn't notice me this time, but what if they do next time? What if they look at me and think, what the hell is Rye? What the hell? This girl's not good enough for Rye. Francis? Oh, sorry, Is everything okay? Yeah, totally. I'm so sorry. I think I think I just have low blood sugar or something. We haven't really eaten since breakfast, you know? I smiled brightly, jabbing Rye lightly in the chest. Why did you lie? It's all your fault. I don't think it was all my fault. I chuckled at a sulky tone. Anyway, I don't think it's a good idea to go to a sit-down restaurant. Why don't we order some takeout or go to a fast food drive-thru? Are you sure? I'm sure we could get a private booth at a nice restaurant somewhere. It's okay. I think it'd be more relaxed for both of us if we ate at home. At home? Yeah, you're right. Oh, he's so happy that she called it home, saying that it's his home too. Oh, that was adorable. Yeah, you're right. Let's do it. Let's do that then. With that settled, we hop back into his car. Even though it was my suggestion and all, it definitely feels weird being in a fancy Porsche in a fast food joint drive-through lane. Still, what the hell's wrong with me tonight? Am I allergic to being happy? Our relationship's going too smoothly, so I have to invent some problems to feel down about. As he drives, Rye rests his hand on my knee. He idly draws circles on it with his fingers as we chat about this and that. This is so comfortable. Us. I shouldn't worry about not being good enough for him. That's not even what relationships are about. And Dry would feel so sad and self-conscious if he knew that this is what I'm thinking. It's not even a big deal. Am I feeling prematurely lonely because this is his last night here before he goes back on tour? Yeah, that must be it. These feelings are misplaced. Just bury them. I'll just bury them. No, don't. Tell him what you're thinking. I assumed you'd tell him what you're thinking when I picked that option. Okay. Whoa, I'm thinking I might have picked a bad. I think I might have picked a bad choice there on that one. Okay. I gotta take a drink. All right, there we go. Ryan and I both being so insatiable after we eat dinner. One thing leads to another, and we end up rolling around in bed again for a couple hours. I think it's crept up on us that Bride's leaving tomorrow. A week sounds like a short time, but it's long enough to grow very attached to someone. In the hours we have left, I just want to be close to Rye as I can. At that moment, since Rye is the absolute best, he's massaging my aching shoulders. You have so many knots. Well, I do spend a lot of my time sitting in front of a computer screen. My shoulders get pretty tense. I know you're probably told this all the time, but you should really try to at least get up once an hour to stretch or something. Yeah, she should. That's what also works a desk job and is currently back in front of a desk. You really should. Yes. Hey, I've seen you at work. You can't say that kind of thing to me. But he's so comfy right now, I don't want to nag him. Can I ask a question and don't overanalyze it? Of course. You know you can ask me anything, Francis. Since our first time being intimate, Rye's been very careful about protection. That's a good thing, of course, but it got me thinking. Well, I stop realizing I'm about to ask, how are Dullahans born? How mortifying. It's like asking where do Dullahan babies come from? As if they have a headless stork. What happens when a regular human and a Dullahan get together like us? Is it even possible for us to have children? That's not the only reason people use condoms, of course, but, you know, I'm just curious is all. Oh, you were so fidgety, I was wondering what you were going to ask, but it was just that? The folk get together with non-folk all the time. It's been happening for thousands of years. Really? Yeah, and the Dullahans especially, since we don't live forever. Our average life expectancy is the same as that of humans. Oh, yeah, I think Rye's mentioned that before. To answer your question, yes. You and I could have children if we wanted to. So would they be like half Dullahans? No, they would either be full Dullahan or full human. Our DNA, if you can call it that, doesn't blend in the same way as yours. For example, if you had someone if you and me had a kid who was human, they'd just be a normal human. If that kid grew up and had kids with another human, all of their kids would be human too. So you're saying the Dullahan gene doesn't skip generations or anything? Right, it's all or nothing. This isn't the case for every Fae, but for Dullahans, this is just what we call... That's just what we've observed over the years. No exceptions? No exceptions. I see. Okay, that's good to know. Your parents... My parents are both Dullahans. While it's not uncommon for us to find human partners, I think with modern society the way it is, it's usually easier for the folk to date each other. There's less judgment, less fear. That's a pretty bleak outlook. I can't help biting my lip. What do I say to that? He's not exactly wrong. It might be easier, but that's not what I want, okay? He's obviously flustered having realized what he just said. I sense that Rye's about to say something big, something that can't be taken back. Rye, I want to be with you, Francis. Always. Something inside me drops. It feels like a stone, traveling from my throat all the way down to the pit of my stomach. What had I expected Rye to say? What had I wanted him to say? I'm sorry. What? Rai, what are you saying? You have nothing to be sorry for. Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed at my assumptions. Yes, I do. All I can say right now is I want to be with you. I can't say I will always be with you and make that kind of pact. It would upend everything that Virgil and I have worked towards, and more importantly, he sighs. I can't put that burden on you. You're not responsible for me. I don't want you to feel obligated. You shouldn't have to feel bound by a pact. Rai, I'm sorry I'm so weak, but I mean it when I say that I want to be with you. This is the first time I've been so reluctant to go back on tour. In the morning, Rai has to go. He could make a pact to stay with me. He could simply say, I will stay with you, and tie himself to me forever. His fans and career be damned. But he knows as well as I do that wouldn't make either of us happy. So he has to go, to work, and to be his brilliant self. I know that. I understand that. For a moment I had thought, no, what's happening to me? I'm getting greedy. But even so, Rai's apologizing to me. He's saying that he's weak for not being able to throw everything away to be with me. How did our conversation get so serious? We haven't even been dating that long. Alright, let's not throw ourselves a pity party. Rai laughs a little sadly before taking a deep breath and holding my hand in his. What it comes down to is, Francis, I love you. Rai's voice is steady and sure. And since I love you, I'm going to have moments like this, moments of doubt, but I want to treasure both you and my music. Yeah, and as your girlfriend, it's my job to support you. I should be seeing you off with a smile. I don't want to hold you back. I'm always so proud when I see that Dryden's doing well, you know. I'm happy for you. Francis, you know that goes both ways, right? I'm sure I can't always be around and the tour's so long, but I hope you know how much I support you too. I think what you do is amazing. My heart lurches for just a moment. I wish I could feel as much pride in myself as I feel for Rai, as much as Rai apparently feels for me. I'm not there yet. Thanks, Rai. I love you. This relationship is a work in progress. There's still a lot we haven't discovered about each other, a lot that we haven't done yet. Hell, I'm a work in progress. I shouldn't feel guilty for these negative feelings I have. It's only natural. Who could be completely carefree dating someone so rich and famous? Rai is totally out of my league. I feel like I'm that proverbial frog in the well, and then a shooting star fell into the well. I've caught that shooting star, but I don't know what to do with it. Thus, the star has to go back to the heavens, and I'm still stuck at the bottom of the well once it's gone. I'll always be in this well. Even so, that star loves the frog. I'm not going to let these kinds of thoughts ruin what we have. It's not Rai's fault I have a bit of an inferiority complex, and I refuse to take it out on him or make him worry. The frog loves the shooting star too, wherever it goes. Oh. On this last night together for a long while, Rai and I bare our hearts to each other and talk until we're completely worn out. When I'm so sleepy that I can't keep my eyes open anymore, I snuggle closer to Rai and feel him wrap an arm around me. Oh, you aren't making this easy for me. I hear him murmur somewhat ruefully. Good, if I'm not the only one feeling so lonely and reluctant to go, then it makes this just a little easier to bear. Oh, that was so sweet. That was so good. Oh, and he's already gone. We don't even get a big goodbye, but I guess it makes sense. It makes sense, you know? Oh, that's so sad. That's so upsetting. But it's fine, I guess. But I do think that that right there is probably a good spot to end it for today. We went through the entire week of him being here, basically, and just like that in this one stream. So I'll take that. It feels like a good, like, ender right there, you know what I mean? So yeah, no, next time we'll come back with more First Snow on Thursday, and depending on how long we go for that, it kind of depends on how long I want to go. We might be able to finish it, because if each chapter is around like 2-ish hours, then like if I go a bit longer, we'll see how long it actually takes and how I'm feeling by the end. By the time we get like an hour and a half, 2 hours in, essentially, we might finish it, we might not. I doubt. It's like a 50-50 right now. But that was really good. I love seeing them together, and I'm so sad it's already over. I genuinely forgot that it was only for a week, and then he was leaving again. That's so upsetting, and I understand how they feel. I feel probably a little better about it than they feel about it, but regardless, I'm still sad. So that's what matters to me. No, like I love seeing them together and having Rye around is so great. And if you can't tell, Rye is adorable. What an adorable guy. All his emotion, like all his portraits are just so cute. He gets so excited and he's so expressive, like, and it makes sense because he doesn't have a face to like express all of this stuff with, so he has to like express his feelings through his body language. So when he's excited, he's like really excited, you know what I mean? Or when he's happy, he's just really happy. And obviously then when he gets sad, he looks depressed, you know what I mean? It's so well done. And again, it's just like more like little details like that, like the bowing thing. I was like, that's such like a smart detail to put into something like this. And then like having him be like super expressive with his body language, I'm like, that makes sense. That's just like how they would like need to be to communicate non-verbally. That just checks out. So it's like it's all so good. And I'm so sad for when we read this again next Thursday that we'll be in a Rylus world. He'll be gone for however long, whether it be a few months or like a week or something. I don't know. Hopefully he comes back quickly and then he'll be here for the rest of it and never leave us again. I genuinely like thought he was accidentally going to pact himself to her though, and then have to stay, or she'd have to go with him, and like that would have made things obviously like ooh spicy, but it also would have been like oh that's really rough for both of them. Because like she's saying, you know, I'm now a big Rye fan. I do in fact love Rye, as if I wasn't from the beginning, but now I'm even more of one after spending this week with him. So I'm like, but you do gotta let him go. You gotta go let him live his musically inclined life and share it with the world, you know. But he'll be back eventually, even if it's very sad. And I'm also very scared to read it next time because I'm just worried for how Frances is gonna do. Because she definitely like already brought it up, but it's like she definitely has like an inferiority complex. Like, how could you not? You know, it would be like dating like idiot kind of like huge pop star. How could you not just feel like, am I good enough for this person? Am I like okay doing this? I don't know. And like especially with him like being gone and how lonely that would make you feel after, and then the inferiority complex, like that's just gonna be so much. So I'm scared for Francis for the next like part that we read. So but I think with all that being said, I'll see all of you beautiful, beautiful people in the next one. Bye bye.